This is Hemant.
And Jessica.
And you're listening to the Friendly Atheist Podcast. If you like what you're listening to, go to patreon.com/Friendly Atheist Podcast. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. There's so many things I want to talk about.
Okay.
And like 90 of them involve the MAGA kid.
Let's dispense with this small
there's
talk
no small talk this week. Here's where I'm trying to figure out with this MAGA hat wearing kid. Obviously, I wasn't a fan of him at first, but that was before all the backlash to the I spoke too soon, those people. And I read a bunch of those things, and I feel like I really haven't changed my mind that much.
Okay.
But I do want to talk about, like, what does this kid represent? So this is the kid whose Catholic all-boys high school went to the March for Life, and then afterwards the Native American guy approached them. They surrounded him. One kid in particular was seen smirking at the Native American
like being
guy.
up in his business.
That's
not
what it
just
looked like. Yeah. And afterwards it was like, no, we spoke too soon. They were being harassed by black Hebrew Israelites.
Sure.
And they weren't really doing all that stuff you thought they were doing. What was weird is all these apologies for speaking too soon seem to go ridiculously far in the other direction.
They really, 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 really,
like these
did.
boys should be absolved of all sins,
right?
Because they didn't do anything wrong. That's what it felt like. It's like, no, even if you give them the best case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, either way, they're little turd buckets. Like,
yeah, but why? Here's what I want to get to. Like, why are they little turd buckets?
Because they're rich white kids whose parents paid for a PR company for them, and like, if that's the background they have, if they're the kind of parents who instead of seeing what their kid did and said, "Wow, we really need to rethink what we're doing as parents," they said, "No, we're gonna pour some money into a PR company, write a letter, have her letter."
A Republican PR company, I should add.
Oh,
like
I
a guy
did not know
who
that was a
works
thing.
for right-wing causes.
Gotcha. I mean, somebody ghost wrote like a faux apology letter, and then he like got on a bunch of like fucking news programs.
Right.
So why are they turd buckets? Because this is their reality. Because they live in a reality where they did something shitty. Is it the worst thing that a human has ever done? No. Was it shitty? Yeah, it was a shitty thing to do. And everybody is bending over backwards to find the best case scenario in what they did and who they are.
Yeah, this is a privilege that other people don't get. Where it's
Right.
like, this is we got you in the worst moment photograph of your life. It's like, but let's give you all the benefits of the doubt and see what happened. But for me, if I'm running through the list of things that I think even the apologists for this group of kids would agree with, they still, I don't care that they attended the school, the all-boys Catholic school.
Yeah.
But they spent their whole day rallying to make sure women are forced to give birth against their will.
Yeah, they're at an anti-choice rally.
Yeah,
which
I mean,
is
so they're
a bad start.
That's a bad start. We can criticize them for bad decisions, even though it's not like it's only them. Yeah, there were other people there too. They're all wrong. But you can criticize them for that. So that's a bad decision by everyone in their life circle. They're wearing the MAGA hats. I'm sure they might say it's ironic or like they're wearing it ironically, but as many people have pointed out, like no one wears a Klan hood ironically.
Yeah.
If you wear the MAGA hat, you are suggesting you're okay with what that phrase stands for and what Trump is doing in the name of that.
And not just okay, enthusiastically supporting it.
Yeah, which
We're
is
not
to say you are
like-
okay with his racism and
Right.
everything he said in Charlottesville and everything he's done since.
Like-
Anti-everything you can imagine.
Right.
The ignorance, the stupidity, the shutdown over a stupid wall. Like, you're fine with all of that.
Right.
And no one in your life circle
Right.
is saying you should not wear that because it stands for this stuff. So I'm not saying like, no, screw it. I am saying all this, like, they are wearing it and they're fine with it. And that's something worth criticizing.
Right. I want to be really clear because I think there was a lot of like hand-wringing about like snap judgments and all this. And like, yeah, I think judging a book by its cover isn't the best thing. But I think there's also a difference between saying how somebody looks or how, like, if they're shabbily dressed, that means they are X. There's a huge difference between that and, like, a symbol. Like, I have a Darwin sticker on my car. I do that as an outward projection of something.
This is what I stand for.
This is what I stand
believe.
for. It's not just like what my nose looks like or you know, how my accent or something like that. It's not something that I can't really control. It is something that I am choosing to project outward. Same thing. You walk out with a MAGA hat, I know exactly what you fucking stand for.
Right. And then you should be able to be criticized for that. Now, of course, that's not the thing, because if you want to criticize people for wearing MAGA hats, there are plenty to choose from. If you want to criticize people who are against abortion, there's plenty more to choose from, too. In this particular case, the smirking kid, here's where I might disagree with other people. I see the smirk, and I'm like, I know what that look is. And, of course, the kid's like, no, I wasn't smirking. I wasn't being condescending. I wasn't looking at it this way.
Anybody who was bullied in high school knows what that look was.
Well, that's the argument, right?
That look has been directed at me.
Yeah, that's what everyone saw in that photograph. Like, it's the look that says, you're beneath me, and this is silly, and I don't give a damn about your stuff. And that's what people got so frustrated with on their end.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, you're interpreting too much into what this kid is doing. So fine, I will give you that one. I won't even make another big deal of the smirk look. But meanwhile, there's still the tomahawk chops going on in the background. There's video of kids from that same school saying, like, if you're deserve to be raped if you do something.
No, what they said was, don't worry, I remember.
Yes.
It's not rape if you like it.
Oh, there you go.
Or something, which is like, just really... children are our future, you know?
The chaperones didn't remove the kids from that situation, even if they were waiting for a bus somewhere.
Right.
And all the people pointed to, and the kids said he was doing a silent prayer.
Oh,
when he was
my
staring
dick,
at the
like,
Native
shut
American.
The fuck up.
Like, that's where you could, nowhere in his faux apology, as you called it, he didn't say, I'm sorry.
No,
Nowhere
he's
in
not
there.
Sorry.
He's not sorry about it.
He has the privilege of never having to be sorry for anything he does.
And then, of course, people pointed out, like, no, these kids were being harassed by this group of Black Hebrew Israelites who, in the video, longer video, are saying really horrible, offensive things to that crowd of kids and everyone else in the vicinity. It's kind of like those street preachers who are like, all of you are an abomination because you're gay.
I have an understanding in the last few days that people in New York are very familiar with this particular group and they are unkind to most people.
But, like, I think everyone, I mean, pretty much universally is like, okay, that group of people are horrible.
Right.
But everyone knows how to deal with that.
Right.
You ignore them, you walk away from them and move on. And, like, no one's saying that, like, you don't get credit because you didn't punch them out or something.
Right.
Like, just ignore them because there's only a handful of them and literally they don't have any power.
Right.
It's just a group of people you'd never heard of before saying whatever they can say to provoke you.
Well, and
versus the MAGA hat kids who you're part of a giant group of people and you have representatives at the highest levels of government.
Yes.
So the small group of nobodies who are harassing them, yes, that is a problem, but whatever. Every atheist has dealt with those preachers, and you walk past them. It doesn't absolve you from how you treat other people.
Yeah, like
and again, even beyond the Native American guy, they spent their whole day looking down on other people who don't think the way they do.
Oh, yeah,
and not just looking down, but saying, nope, you don't get the rights that I have.
You don't get to say, do what you want. I mean, it's like, do you remember the street preacher who's always at the Old Navy at State and, like, Randolph, maybe, in Chicago?
I know of him. I couldn't tell you his name.
Oh, I don't. Do people know his name? Anyway, there's this guy who for years, I don't know where he is now because that Old Navy is no longer there. But there's an Old Navy, Old Navy in Chicago at
very busy, big downtown
like
area.
Like a huge, like really, really, really big epicenter. And there was a guy who used to camp out in front of the Old Navy at that corner with a little like a little portable microphone set up. And just spew homophobia and shitty things and tell everyone that, like, if you were smoking a cigarette while you're going by, he'd yell at you about that. If you were, like, holding hands with somebody, he didn't just, like, yell. He, like, targeted people and really sort of, like, dropped the hammer on them.
Yeah.
Anyway, like, this is shit you have to deal with. And maybe they don't in their little town in Kentucky, like, yeah, that's probably not a place where they've met a lot of, I don't know, black people, period.
Well, speaking of which, another photo that went viral is a picture of kids
the cool blackface that they did?
The blackface that they did, which they, again, rationalized by saying, no, it was like a blackout day. You're supposed to wear all black. It's not blackface.
That was straight up minstrel face paint.
And literally nobody in their life circle said, you may want to like at least wash your face. Just wear the black shirt.
Yeah.
No one said blackface is wrong, and none of these kids knew it was wrong. Because again, this is the bubble that they live in, where wearing a MAGA hat is fine because no one around you is saying why that's wrong.
Yeah.
Or they go to a anti-choice rally because everyone think, yeah, that's totally fine to tell women like to have their rapists' babies.
Yeah, it's so
this
beyond
is
fucked up.
They live in this bubble. So of course, when they look a certain way at somebody, they don't know what they're doing. That's the best thing I can say about them.
Right.
They don't understand why everything they seem to be doing is perceived as racist or whatever, because they're dumb, because they're ignorant. I don't want to blame the kids for it, because kids do dumb things, but again, no one in their circle is stopping them from doing dumb. Like, they never learn this stuff.
Yeah, no, and you kind of.
And it is unfair that the first time they're learning how bad this is, is like in the middle of a firestorm.
And you kind of took the words right out of my mouth, because like, who is to blame? Because these kids are what, say 16-ish?
Ish, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I was definitely an idiot when I was a teenager, but like my hijinks were stealing vodka from my dad's liquor bottle, or one time my friends and I drove around a city, a neighborhood, and stole like lawn ornaments because we were fucking dope as hell. We were like
white suburban people.
Oh my God. It was the whitest thing of all time.
Same thing though. I did cringeworthy stuff, but nowhere in my cringe was I'm gonna like show up at this sort of rally to take away people's civil rights.
Yes. And also, but I guess
or
my point that
I'm going to
trying
look
to
down
make
upon
is,
a race of people or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at them in a certain way because I know nothing about Native American history. I know nothing about black history. I know nothing about politics. And again, kids today know way more about politics than we did too. Like, you know what that hat stands for. If you're wearing it, yeah, we're going to assume a lot of things about you, and we're right to assume those things.
Yes, because I think, like, did I say some, like, cringy things when I was in high school? 100%. Like, me and my friends always call everything, like, oh, it's so gay, or, like, it's retarded. Like, it was terrible, and it was, 2003, 2004, so it wasn't really the social construct that now we're like, maybe you shouldn't like fucking shit all over an entire group of people because you can't.
As a former high school teacher, we had things where we talked to the kids about why you shouldn't say stuff like that. Right. I don't remember having that conversation in high school.
Yeah, absolutely not. I had to learn that on my own and be like, hey, Jess, you were sure an asshole for a while. But A, it was early, and B, I didn't have access to the internet in the way we do now. So, like, if you don't understand why being an asshole to a Native American is not just like shitty behavior, but really fucking troubling behavior, then I don't know what to fucking tell you.
One thing that we can't do that I wish I could do, I would love to get an understanding of what those kids know about Native American history, or figure out like what they understand about politics. And again, it's not I'm sure, I'm not expecting them to like ace a test or something here, but like, I would love to know where they're coming from, because my assumption is they know very little about either one.
Right.
If everyone around you is wearing like the MAGA hat, all right, you want one too, fine. But I don't know if I want to know how much they understand about what that represents.
An asshole to strangers doesn't have like, my problem isn't just that it was a Native American man who was like doing a thing that was important to his culture. But, like, just fucking like, if you walked up to, like, a Scottish bagpiper and smirked at him like that, like, fuck you, dude. Like, it's not, like, I think it's two things worth separating. Like, yeah, he probably is super ignorant of Native American causes and struggles. But also, like, I'm sorry, no amount of cultural understanding is going to prevent you from just like being a fucking dick. Like you know whether or not you're being an asshole. I know when I'm being an asshole.
And here's one thing I will admit that I think is unfair on my end, which is I put a lot of blame, or I criticized the kid in the picture when I really should have criticized all of them, because I think that kid got the disproportionate amount of the criticism, and he didn't deserve the disproportionate amount. He deserved as much as all those tomahawk chop wearing, MAGA hat wearing kids also deserve. He just got caught in the picture doing the dumb thing. Maybe a little more, but like not an outsized more. I mean, they're all like this.
Here's the thing. Here's what could have happened.
In that group.
Here's what could have happened. This picture surfaces. Everybody's outraged. The parents, the teachers, the kids say, wow, I really fucked up. I really need to take a step back. I'm sorry. I'm from a small town in Kentucky. I know that's not an excuse, but it came from a place of ignorance, and I was trying to impress my friends, and I got swept up in it. And I'm learning now that what I did was shitty. And I'm sorry. I'm going to do more and
even
learn.
If he said, I wasn't intending to do any of that. I didn't think I was smirking the way everyone thought I was smirking. But I see that that's what everyone said that. I can understand why that was perceived that way. That wasn't my intent. But yeah, I will go learn from here.
Yeah.
That's not at all what the kid/PR firm that works for CNN guy did.
I mean, it's just really, really, really... I mean, maybe there is a universe where I can see why they thought this PR firm was a good idea. Of like, our kid is getting slandered. We need to stop this in its tracks. Say, giving the parents every benefit of the doubt, which I don't necessarily think they deserve. Oh my God, our kid is getting shit. Our kid's the most hated kid in America.
Right.
What are we going to do about this? How do we fix this? Hey, PR firm, come. So it's a failure on so many levels, because then the PR firm was like, no. Denial is defo the way to go, and that's how we're going to get out of this. And so now that picture is going to be the same thing as...
That picture will be in textbooks that he won't be reading because he doesn't know history.
But it's going to be alongside that one famous picture of the young black... In the 1960s, the young black woman walking into school, and there's a white woman behind her, like, obviously screaming at her. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Yes.
Which actually those two women are friends now, which is a bonkers story. But anyway, but it is an iconic picture that encapsulates the vitriol that white people flung at black people in the 1960s during integration. And this is going to be the picture of young white idiots being assholes.
Even if they did not intend to be assholes, but they were doing it anyway.
Intent doesn't always...
Right. The picture doesn't tell the full story, which is...
No, but even if they weren't meaning to be assholes, intent and effect don't always match up. If I said something really shitty about brown people, what's a shitty thing I could say about brown people?
I'll just rewind the tape. Give me 2 seconds. You know what it reminded me of? The kid from Charlottesville, the kind of pudgy guy who was standing in Confederate gear, and this white girl protester was just like pointing a finger at him. And I saw it on Twitter because everyone was writing like, "Dear Mabel, I am at the war," and like, these people are whatever. They were funnier on Twitter. But like that picture, which I don't know what the full story is. I don't know who was saying what to who, but it was so emblematic of that sort of fight where you have these people who think it's okay to be a Confederate.
Right.
And dress up and cosplay in that sort of gear because you don't really, either you don't understand or you don't care what that stands for.
Right.
And the protester all up in his face about it.
But just to put a bow on my point, because I don't want you to think I was just wanting to say something mean about brown people.
Oh, yes.
If I said something ignorantly, out of ignorance, about if I was like, oh, Hemet, he's Hindu.
Right.
You're not Hindu.
No.
You're Indian. Like, those things are different.
I'm pretty sure that's the most racist thing you've said.
Oh, my God. Thank you. But anyway, whether or not I didn't say, if I had said that, it wasn't to be racist or to be an asshole, but that doesn't mean you can't be like, well, that fucking sucked. Like, me not meaning to be an asshole doesn't mean I don't come off as an asshole.
Right. You don't get to be the
story of my life.
You don't get to decide if you're an asshole.
Right.
I do.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, are we done with those boys?
We're done with those boys. Do you want to go to Trump stuff? Because It's all the same.
Yeah, I've got some Trump. So we're recording on Thursday night.
We are. I know you want to talk about this too. So one of the things that happened this week, the Trump administration said that a foster care agency in South Carolina, it's okay if they get federal funding to run this foster care agency, even though they discriminate openly against non-Christian applicants. Like, they don't want parents who are Jews. They don't want parents who are atheists. They don't want parents who are the wrong kind of Christians.
Or who are
Catholics, not allowed. Definitely not parents who are gay or single or whatever. Actually, I don't know about single. But gay people, for sure, no. And the Trump official says it's totally fine.
Yeah.
And by the way, Obama wasn't great on these issues either, where they said, yeah, it's okay for the government to give organizations money to do secular work, like foster care agencies, even if they discriminate on the basis of their religion. Obama wasn't great at it. Right. I'm not saying it was better before, but this is also really, really awful. And also, by the way, this particular green light for the agency, it is an FU to Obama, because they're like basically Obama in the last days of office banned discrimination, faith-based discrimination for groups that got money from the Department of Health and Human Services. And Trump is saying, like, nope, we're going to get rid of that. Discrimination is cool.
It's cool. It's super chill, and I'm into it. A woman named Christina Wilson Remlin, she's the lead lawyer of children's rights. Yeah. Who they sued South Carolina over its foster care system. Anyway, she said, let's call this decision what it is: state-sanctioned and government-funded discrimination.
Yeah. And again, what I don't get about this is the foster care agency is not interested in doing what's best for the kids, which is getting them in homes of parents who will take care of them, who are qualified to take care of them. It's not like we're running a background check and it came up bad. It's saying, nope, even the people who are educated, qualified, wealthy, whatever things that would give you a leg up in the adoption or foster care world, they don't care. If you're the wrong religion, you're out. And they're being rewarded for it, at least in some states where they've decided, nope, Catholic ministries that do the same thing, you don't get taxpayer funding for it.
Right.
You get to run on your own if you want to. And then some of them went out of business. Too freaking bad. Those kids, it shows how much you cared about the kids.
Right.
But also, yes, then secular organizations or government groups need to step in.
Here's my question.
But, yeah.
So as the population becomes less and less religious as time goes on, do you think there's going to be a tipping point where these places are just no longer going to be able to function to their standards? If fewer and fewer people are identifying as Christian and willing to jump through these hoops, at what point do they have to say uncle and there just aren't enough humans?
I feel like that's so far off because there's so many of them that even if they lost 70% of the Christians that exist now, the conservative Christians, if they stopped, that 30% is still a ton of people. So I don't know that it's going away anytime soon. But again, the whole point is if you want to discriminate and run a foster care agency, the government isn't saying you can't do that.
Right.
But you shouldn't get taxpayer money to discriminate against whichever groups of people you want on the basis of religion or sexual orientation.
Which feels pretty fucking straightforward. That feels pretty codified in the First Amendment.
You would think.
Yeah. That sucks. I hate it. It's all just... This has been a rough week.
What you got?
I've got more bad news.
Yes.
Speaking of the Trump administration.
Go on.
First of all, so it's Thursday night, so the government's still shut down.
What?
Today, 2 bills died in the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
Although, fucking Nancy Pelosi has been giving me life with regard to the State of the Union. It's been fucking magical to watch. But, so apparently, and this is a thing that fell under the radar, and I think they certainly did this on purpose. So the Department of Justice's Office on Violence Against Women made changes to their definition of domestic violence back in April. So this is
We're only realizing it now or something?
Yeah.
What did the change say?
So So the Obama era definition was pretty expansive. It included input from experts from the National Center for Victims of Crime and the National Domestic Violence Hotline. So essentially, what it came down was abuse is not just you punching your partner.
This is the Obama era.
This is the Obama era stuff, right? Like
abuse could be
abuse
mental,
can be
emotional, psychological.
So examples they give of a pattern of deliberate behavior, the dynamics of power and control, behaviors that encompass physical or sexual violence, forms of emotional, economical, psychological. So, like, if you are the breadwinner and you don't give your partner access to money and give them very little money so they can't do whatever, and it's a way of controlling them.
Right.
These are all forms of abuse which experts all agree upon.
Right. So what's the new definition?
And the Trump Justice Department only harms that constitute a felony or misdemeanor crime can be called domestic violence.
So only physical.
Yeah. So, for example...
I don't know if any of the other ones qualify as a crime.
So a woman whose partner isolates her from family and friends, monitors her every move, belittles and berates her, and denies her access to money to support herself and her children, she would not be considered a victim of domestic abuse, even though those are all...
And, okay, so if she's not a if she doesn't fit that definition, what happens?
My understanding...
Like, why was that definition important?
That's a good question. I think it has to do with the charges that can be leveled at the partner. So if you bring up domestic abuse allegations and somebody says, well, he was only stalking you and keeping you from talking to your parents. So
cross that one off your list.
Go home. You're fine. It just matters in terms of like how words fucking matter. When you call something domestic abuse, it carries more weight. So anyway, that's the fucking worst. Here we go. Restoring, this is from the Centers of Disease Control. Restoring non-physical violence to the definition of domestic violence is critical. Over 1/3 of American women, it's 4.3 million, have experienced quote, psychological aggression at the hands of an intimate partner. Experts have long recognized that manipulative behaviors identified in the Obama-era definition are restricting victims' liberty or freedom, can cause greater or more lasting damage than physical harm. Also, these are red flags for escalation, right? Like somebody who starts with verbally abusing or emotionally abusing their wife, very frequently physical abuse isn't that far behind.
And if they have a gun, we've seen that happen many times.
Yerp. So anyway, just banging the drum of Trump's people do not care about women. They don't particularly like us.
I got more people who don't care about women. How's that for a segue? Okay, so Equal Rights Amendment. They tried passing this thing decades ago. It didn't pass in large part. What this would have done is basically constitutional amendment that says you can't discriminate on the basis of gender or what is it called? Gender or sex, whatever the terminology is.
I would try to help you, but I don't know what you're trying to get at.
That's what it was supposed to do. It seems like one of those obvious things that we should pass because what that would do is to say if equal pay for equal work, that would be a given. Any sort of discrimination against women because they're women, that this amendment you could point to and say the Constitution says I have an equal right to this, so you can't do any sort of discrimination. Again, it seems like one of those obvious things that we should pass. Better protection for women who suffer gender-based violence, like you just said. If it's in one direction, if you're getting abused because you're a woman, that sort of amendment could protect you in court and give you a fighting chance to get some justice. It didn't pass decades ago, and it's because mostly it's attributed to one conservative Christian woman, Phyllis Schlafly, who said, we don't need this, we're good. And she got so many conservative Christians riled up against the ERA that they ultimately couldn't pass it in enough states for this thing to get ratified. Since then...
Thanks, Phil.
Yeah. Since then, the number of states that have ratified it on their end is... it went from whatever the number was to 37, but you need 38. So, like, we're really close to getting this thing ratified. Now, here's a tangent, which is that, like, 5 of the states have since passed bills saying, we know we ratified it, but we take that back. And the question is, constitutionally, are they allowed to do that? And some scholars say, it doesn't matter. They already ratified it. It counts for the purpose of you need 38 states. Separate issue. But the question is, can we get 38 states? Because then we can move on to the rest of the conversation about, all right, is this thing a law yet? So Virginia was well on its way, kind of. It could have been the 38th state. By the way, Illinois, 37th. We did it earlier last year.
Good for us.
Finally. So
I feel more equal already.
Right? So Virginia is considering passing the ERA. So first it has to go through the House subcommittee who would have approved it, and then like their full committee can vote on, let's bring this up for a vote, and then maybe the whole House of Delegates can vote on it. So the subcommittee has 6 people, 4 Republicans, 2 Democrats.
Cool, good ratio.
One of the, and it totally Republican-dominated everything in Virginia. So the idea that this is gonna pass in Virginia, I mean, it's not looking so good because Republican. But here's what happened this week. Of those 4 Republicans on this subcommittee, one of them happens to be a woman. She's a delegate, Margaret Ransone. Margaret Ransone. And basically, she gave, like, they had a public comment section before they all took their vote. The 6 of them took their vote on it. And again, a lot of these people are saying, you have to pass this for all these reasons. They're making these inspirational speeches. And what she says to the crowd right before they vote is, I don't need words on a piece of paper because God made us all equal.
Oh my God, are you fucking kidding me right now?
So she voted against it. And then later, after she voted, she made a speech to the other delegates in the House session where she expanded on her comments. And let me quote you some of the justification she gave for why she's against it. As a woman, the ERA is something I personally and fundamentally disagree with. And she goes on like, I'm a member of the House of Delegates. It took a lot to be here. I'm a proud mother, a proud wife. I did all of this as a woman. And without the ERA this morning, I voted against it because it's not needed. She says, women deserve equal treatment. Women deserve to be paid fairly. They deserve every opportunity that a man does. And thanks to the 14th Amendment and the Virginia Constitution, violating those things is against the law. Excuse me. She goes on to basically say, I made it, I worked hard, I got mine, so we're good.
So this is roughly the equivalent of somebody on the Oregon Trail being like, well, I floated my wagon across that treacherous river. Like, yeah, some people died along the way, but I made it. So I'm going to burn the fuck down on that bridge you're trying to build because fuck y'all.
More or less, yes. And by the way, when she made those comments in the morning session, you could hear some of the protesters when she's like, I made it here. Some of them are like, yeah, we're really happy for you, very sarcastically in the background. But again, what she misses,
fucking bullshit.
What she misses is that as a white woman, yes, I'm sure she did work hard and good for her for making it. She has no recognition that other women may have other obstacles standing in the way that prevents them from achieving the same sort of success, even if they work just as hard, if not harder, than she does.
Yep.
And that's the sort of thing this ERA would help. Like a lot of those women deal with this,
right.
the obstacles. And she's just saying, no, it's all merit-based. Like it's the same attitude that says, oh, you're not rich, you just must not work as hard.
Oh, God. It's like, what's his face from the Commerce Department? Like, oh, why don't federal workers just take out loans? Like, what?
Wilbur Ross, was that the one?
I don't know.
Whatever it was. One of the billionaires.
Wilbur Ross. How dare he have that name?
The idea that, you guys will be fine. Just, you'll volunteer to work. Take out a loan if you need to. What's the big deal about a shutdown?
This attitude that old rich people have of either I struggled, so you should too, or I didn't struggle, so I'm not sure why you're struggling.
I'm not offended by this joke. Why are you offended
Yeah.
by it? It's the same attitude that you have no concept of what it's like to be lesbian or trans or African American or Latina. And like, I don't either. But I try to listen to what they're saying if they're saying this stuff because I realize they have a perspective I don't.
Yeah, my experience isn't universal. Can you believe it? Also, a quick sidebar. So after our New Year's recap or our year-end recap episode, I got some flack for saying that I think my words were "fuck baby boomers." They shouldn't be allowed on Facebook. So I just wanted to speak to that a little bit.
Please.
So when I say something like, I hate baby boomers, or I hate men, or I hate
brown people.
Brown people sometimes, more likely white people.
Yes.
If you're a member of that group, I want to be extremely clear. Yes, I am talking about you personally. I hate you personally. Anyway,
we tailor these podcasts for each person individually.
We do. So I just want to make that clear. Because like sometimes people don't understand like my kind of subversive humor, like totally inspired by South Park. I have a good story I would like to share.
What?
Yeah, I was going to wait till the end, but I'm pretty mad already.
Go on.
So this is actually from Isaac, who follows me on Twitter. Very, very, very nice guy. And like tagged me in his story about this. And his tweet was essentially like, can you give us good news for fucking once? Which I appreciated.
Well done, Isaac.
So Ocasio-Cortez, who is like, everybody's fucking obsessed with her. Again, I'm fully on her train. I'm into her. Did you hear, during the, when they got, what's the word, sworn in?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I feel like there's a better
she
word.
was sworn in.
Anyway.
She took an oath.
Yeah.
That thing.
Anyway, she wore all white as a hat tip to suffragettes, which I think is great. She also wore red lipstick and like big fucking gold hoops. And it was as a tribute to I should have looked
Sonia
this up.
Sotomayor.
It is. That's what I was going to say.
And
Sonia Sotomayor.
finger
let
nail
me tell
polish.
my story.
Yeah.
Let me tell my truth.
I'm setting up.
Apparently, when Sonia Sotomayor was brought into the Supreme Court, they were like, maybe you should ditch your red nail polish and go for something more natural. And she was like, nope, and like painted them like bright fucking red. So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, God, it's really hard to like just spit that name out.
It's because you're
AOC.
racist. It's
I'm
okay.
not racist. It's a lot of syllables. I can't be racist. People haven't been able to say Jessica Blumke for my entire life.
Do you know who you're talking to? My name is Bob at Starbucks.
But anyway, so I had to look up a lot of elements of this story to tell it because I am woefully unaware of anything in the gamer community. So do you know what Twitch is?
I've heard of it.
Can you like...
It's YouTube for people who play video games and then stream themselves playing the video games for their fans to watch them play video games.
Yeah, that's basically it, which... Do I think is dumb? Yeah, but like also people listen to this podcast, so we've all made our choices vis-a-vis entertainment.
Just so we can clarify, you're against all the baby boomers who are older than you, and you're against everyone who's younger than you who uses Twitch. Just trying to nail down your demographic.
Well,
here.
no, that was me kind of like giving a little wink of like, hey, this podcast is dumb, but I want people to listen to it, so like let people live their fucking life. Also, I have been known to watch Monster Factory with the McElroy brothers. So, like, listen.
I don't know what you just said.
I get it. It's a very good web series. Web series? YouTube series. Anyway.
So Twitch
is this. So it's a thing where gamers live stream themselves playing games, and there's usually a camera like on them, so you can see their screen and their face, or you can hear them talking.
Since you mentioned South Park, there was an episode of people just, why would anyone watch someone playing games?
It's weirdly soothing, if I'm being honest. Like I did a fun bit before about how I think it's stupid. It is kind of soothing. It's dumb, but like half the shit I do is dumb. Everything's dumb. But anyway, so it's also become this tool for fundraising for charity. So they do
like they'll live stream for a certain amount of time, donate while I'm gaming.
They're very much kind of reinventing the telethon in a kind of interesting way. So one guy in particular, his name is Harry Brewis. YouTube handle is H Bomber Guy. Cool as usual usernames. So he's British, and he was doing a stream. Fuck, I didn't even write down what game he was playing. I want to say it's Donkey Kong. I don't know. Nobody knows. I made that up.
That's what everyone plays on Twitch.
Why did I say Donkey Kong? There's nobody that was
the last
right.
game you played.
Stupid Jessica. Anyway, he did a fundraiser for Mermaids, which is a UK charity, and it provides support for gender diverse and trans kids.
Okay.
So really worthy cause. He just his inspiration was he thinks that the trans community gets a bad rap in society, and he wants to help, and it's all very honorable and great. I'm sorry I made fun of your handle. Mine's Blueberry. Who fucking cares? Everybody's dumb. So fucking AOC calls into this live stream, and this British guy is fanboying so hard over her. She talks about how great N64 is, which is the only good take anybody has ever given or ever needs. N64 is the shit.
I've never played it.
You didn't? Did you not
Never.
have video games growing up?
I think NES is the last thing I had.
Really?
Yeah.
So
then I stopped.
We had NES, Sega.
Not because I was better than it, just because.
No, nobody thought that.
No.
Don't worry.
Uh-huh.
No, N64 was my shit because it was the last gaming system I played as a kid, and everything else now I'm old manning at.
I had a Game Boy.
Oh, Game Boys are
That was more
awesome.
recent.
Yeah, they sure
Sure.
were, haven't.
Go on.
Well, more recent by 3 years. Let's not pretend this is some 2019
Wait,
shit.
So how much, what did Ocasio do?
No, I was talking about my
right.
love of N64.
And Donkey
Could
Kong.
you've really been
Yes.
Anyway, I think N64 is great. It's before everything got too complicated for me, an old person. So she called in just to be hey, N64 is the shit. You know what else is cool? Trans rights. She said, quote, it makes these issues, issues faced by the trans community, makes these issues more acute in their crisis than they usually are on average for other people. So it's important that we do talk about these issues in the economic frame, not just let go of the fact that discrimination is a core reason for the economic hardship. She said something about trans rights or civil rights or human rights. She just is batting 1,000 over here. Footnote on that. Oh, also, activist Chelsea Manning and Doom co-creator John Romero were also guests. And guess how long our close personal friend Harry played video games?
Hours?
Yeah, it's hours. Good.
How long can one play video games?
I mean, it's hard to say. I'm looking at a number. Can you guess any number?
I would say 24, but even that seems crazy.
57.
Jesus Christ.
But he raised $340,000 for Mermaids.
All right, I'll shut up now.
This said dollars. I assume it's dollars and not pounds.
Uh-huh.
So don't at me about the conversion.
Wow.
Anyway, so that's my one good story.
That's
Thank you
awesome.
for flagging that with me, Isaac. You're right. I do need a candle in these dark times.
This isn't sad. This is a happy story.
Prefacing something by this isn't sad. It's a low bar to clear.
Conan O'Brien was on TV this week with a shorter show. He's now half an hour instead of an hour. So he was doing interviews to promote the new rebooted talk show.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
So, yeah, he was talking about it. And this is an interview he did with the New York Times. I think it was Dave Itzkoff, one of their pop culture writers. And one of the things Conan brings up, one of the things they pointed out is, is this how you want to finish this part of your career where your show just kind of gets smaller and smaller until it's practically gone?
First of all, fuck you, dude.
I know. And what he said is,
have you been on TV
I know.
since
What's
the
your show?
mid-90s?
Conan says this. Look, he says, look, this is going to sound grim. Eventually, all our graves go unattended.
Oh,
The interviewer
Jesus.
says, you're right, that sounds grim. And he goes on. Conan says, basically, look, in 1940, he's quoting somebody. In 1940, people said Clark Gable is the face of the 20th century. Who the fuck thinks about Clark Gable? It doesn't matter. You will be forgotten. I will be forgotten. We will all be forgotten, unquote. And Conan adds, it's so funny because you think that would depress me. I was walking on air after that.
Yeah.
After he heard that quotation, basically saying, I don't care if like they're saying, what's my legacy going to be? Who cares? He's having fun. He's like, you know what? You're right. People will forget about me. They'll forget about my show in some time.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's liberating. And the reason I bring it up here is because this is something a lot of atheists get, which is, oh, you're not living for heaven. You're not living for the afterlife or some higher purpose. Your life must be really bleak and depressing. And of course, any atheist will say, like, no, it's the opposite. Like, I think a lot of them will.
My life is very bleak. But
They're
that's,
like,
I think, my own cross to bear.
right.
Excuse the pun.
It's very much like no, I'm lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
I am only here now. I don't get like more years in the afterlife. So I need to make the most of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, are we like the pale blue dot in this universe? Yeah, but we're here. So like, let's make the most of it, do what we can, try to make, the place better, try to make the world better. And like, that's a nice thing. And I think to him, he's like, who cares how long the show is? Who cares if no one remembers this or what my legacy is going to be? Like, it's fine. It's okay. Even the biggest stars of 20, 30, 40 years ago, most people don't talk about them now.
Right.
That's not a bad thing. That's just how life works. And so let's just make the most of it, because why would you not? Why would you want to spend your life making... this is why I don't get the Trump people. Why would you want to spend your life making life bad for everybody? What joy does that bring you?
I completely agree.
Because you only have a little time. And imagine having all the power that you would in those positions and saying, how much damage can I do to make other people suffer?
Right.
That's a mindset that just doesn't make any sense to me, because why would you do that?
Yeah, it's... I don't know. That's the lack of empathy I see by many people on the right, and specifically a lot of Christians, I think that's what gets me, is like, you're spending your time here trying to, like, not just actively be an asshole, but like watch suffering and be okay with it. Like, just the amount of like takes I see online of people saying like, these people, these federal workers are going to go, as of tomorrow, 2 weeks without or 2 pay periods without a paycheck. That's horrible. And just anybody who comes in saying like, well, they should just get another job, or like, oh, they should have saved money, or I don't feel sorry for them, but like, really, you don't. Like, your reaction to human suffering is like,
It's like a rich person saying money isn't everything.
It really
yeah, that's
is.
easy for you to say.
Yeah.
You've never had to deal with it when you live paycheck to paycheck and you need this stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the thing is like, yeah, I think what Conan said is kind of nihilistic, but it's definitely not. I think it's a very it's like a Rorschach test. Mm-hmm. If you hear someone saying like, "Well, I'm not going to live forever," or "Nobody's going to remember me forever," or "In 1,000 years we're all going to be dust," if that makes you feel like horrifyingly bleak and small and bad, versus like, does that kind of click in something with you of like, "Hey, I don't have that much time. I'm going to do something that makes me happy, or that makes other people happy, or that is a largely positive influence," which is ironic because I spend my time doing this podcast and I just yell at people.
What's wrong with you? I know. Can I go to... I have a couple more stories, but I definitely want to get to this one.
Okay.
And I don't care so much about the other ones.
Cool.
An Arizona legislator... Gail Griffin, she is a Republican. She figured out a way to fund Donald Trump's racist border wall. And here's her plan. She proposed a bill in Arizona that would tax citizens $20 if they want to watch porn on their computer. Basically, here's how the law works, because I had to figure out how is she planning on doing this. What basically would happen is every internet service provider would have to censor obscenity on the internet. And if you want to unlock the obscene content, you would have to pay them X amount of dollars, 20 of which goes to the state. They could charge you whatever they want to unlock it.
They're holding porn ransom?
They're holding porn ransom.
Hey,
and
have
you would
it. Do you think it's going to be $69?
God. I
It's
dismiss
the
your
sex
generation.
number. We're the
against
same
all-
generation. How
No,
dare you?
No, don't. I'm a
You're
boomer.
like 2 years older than me.
So this is her plan, and she said $20 of which would be taken to unlock the porn, if you will, and then that money would be paying for grants from the state that would fund the following 10 things. Number one of which is building a border wall between Mexico and this state, or funding border security. Here's what's scary. 18 states have submitted bills just like this, some version of this, and they've all failed because on the surface, getting an internet service provider to block
That's
what's
government
obscene,
censorship.
that is censorship that violates the First Amendment. It would never work. And also, just imagine the workarounds, how easy it would be to work around it.
I also have a
And
lot
also,
of questions.
who defines obscene is
Yeah.
another question, because I find the Bible obscene. It has rape and genocide and incest.
Would I have to
Can
pay
we-
extra for my romance novels? Because
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
already paying like $7 a piece.
if you're reading them online, then
I am.
think
I'm reading them on
so.
my Kindle.
There you go.
Oh,
so,
no.
So it won't pass. But this is just an example of like, this is what conservatives are doing because they really, really want to stick it to brown people.
So do you think, is it like
By
a
the way, you know who would
yearly
be pissed
thing?
off about a porn ban? Christians. Because the religious people watch
yeah.
more porn per
Yeah,
capita
for sure.
than like religious people
Yeah.
do all the freaky sex stuff more than everybody else.
Yeah, watching porn is such freaky
I know,
sex stuff.
you know what
Evan.
I was getting at.
No, do you think so? Is it like X amount of dollars per year, or like per video?
I think it was per year. Like to unlock it for the year, the internet service provider can ask you to pay whatever they want, but $20 from each person has to go to the state.
Okay, I've said this before, and it will be the thing I say again and again and again and again, is how fucking dare Republicans say they're for small government and then try to pull shit like this? Are you actually fucking kidding me? No pun intended.
Uh-huh.
Because I said fucking.
I
Did
heard
you hear
you.
it?
I got
Did
you.
you get it?
That's why I didn't laugh.
Fun sex joke.
Sure it was.
We're both very comfortable making those jokes next to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Of course, all
I
the
hate
comments
it.
are like, there's no way she's going to get people to pay for internet porn.
No, absolutely not. Oh my God, I could think of a million
Can you
workarounds.
imagine if this law went into effect, how much
students
people
would go
would
broke.
how much people would download before it went into
Oh
effect?
yeah. Oh, you better find your favorite videos, my dude. Whoo, gotta get a variety. Who knows what you're in the mood for today?
And who knows what you'll be in the mood for tomorrow.
Yeah, everybody's gonna have like 7 files on their desktop, like taxes.
2019 Part A through.
Oh yeah, all that's gonna do is take up people's hard drives. This is not the fight we should fight.
Can we just have a bill that says every Republican's browser history is made public for everybody to see first? Like, let's pass that first. Then we'll play this game.
I was gonna say I would hate for my browser history to come public, not necessarily because of a large amount of porn I watch, but just like weird thoughts that pop in my head that I always need an answer to immediately. I cannot imagine what your browser history looks like.
Dude, depending on the story.
What do your ads look like? Like when when you get ads, is it just always like
on everything?
Oh yeah, I got tired of the pop-ups.
My favorite comment.
You can't use ad blockers. You literally live on ads.
I know, I'm
You're
so
the
horrible.
worst.
I know, I'm driving myself out of business. My favorite comment, as a pastor, I like my porn like I like my church. Tax exempt. Well played. Well played.
I didn't know where the end was going to be.
Or another comment, they came for the DACA dreamers, and I said nothing.
I thought, okay, wait. I thought the guy, I'm trying to think of another joke for that guy.
Oh, my God.
I like my, I don't want to brag. I took a stand-up comedy class, and the first thing we had to do was write I like my X the way I like my Y. And mine was, this is the first joke I ever
my
wrote. I'm
God.
very proud of it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I like my uterus the way I like my calories. Empty. It's a good first joke.
I take back my laugh.
But no. I like my church the way I like my porn full of altar boys.
Ew.
Yeah.
Good try, though.
I mean, somebody laughed, I bet.
I'll come up with another punchline. Keep talking.
No, okay.
No,
I already
I'm not
vamped for
improvising.
myself. I told a whole boring story about my past so I could come up with that dumb punchline. Okay, are we done with the porn thing?
The women are silent. That's not
God, I
right.
was going to do a thing about this guy was threatening to conduct a mass shooting.
But really, after you've talked about a porn tax, how can you go to a mass murder?
So this guy, he got caught. He's 27 years old. He said, all I want is a girlfriend, not a thousand, not a bunch of hoes, not money, none of that. All I want to be loved, yet no one cares about me. I'm 27 years old. I've never had a girlfriend before, and I'm still a virgin.
So he posts this where?
He wrote...
Like he wrote a letter of this?
On
or
Facebook.
Oh, okay.
I've never had a girlfriend. I'm still a virgin. This is why I'm planning on shooting up a public space soon and being the next mass shooter. So I'm ready to... Because I'm ready to die, and all the girls who turn me down is going to make it right by killing... The grammar isn't great. The grammar is not the biggest problem, but it's also not great. Is going to make it right by killing as many girls as I see. So, like, yeah, toxic masculinity is definitely not a thing, and women aren't treated as objects at all. So I'm really glad we kind of...
He's probably a boomer.
That he's not. He's 27. He's younger than me. Okay. Yes, I hate boomers. Not everybody I hate, I think, is a boomer. It's not how hating large groups of people work, Emmett. Read a book.
Oh, all right. No, I'll do this one. There is one
okay.
more. Then I swear I'm done.
Okay.
There's a guy named David Matheson who spent many, many years as a Mormon gay conversion therapist, telling gay men that I can turn you straight and I'll torture you until you become straight, basically, right? He even wrote a book with a title that basically said, what's it called? It's called Becoming a Whole Man, which... Funny, ironic,
Yikes.
dude. But becoming
Run that
a whole
by two people before you publish.
But becoming a whole man, as if you're gay, you're not fully human or something.
Yeah, that's why they need
right?
the penis inside.
God, did you fail this stand-up comedy class? Oh my God. So anyway, he was helping gay men develop gender wholeness. He was on Nightline in 2010 saying, for some people, gay is never going to work. That kind of life, that kind of living, never going to gel ever with their value system. And now it turns out, Wayne Beeson at a site called Truth Wins Out, which is an pro-LGBT site, he got a hold of some private Facebook messages in like a private Facebook group. Someone sent it to him. And it said... basically, someone else who he works with had posted a comment about Matheson, and it suggested that he has stopped doing the conversion stuff, and he's on the lookout for, wait for it,
Tail.
more specific.
Boy tail.
Yeah. He's on the search for a male partner. Specifically...
Ooh, I don't have enough room in my car for that kind of baggage, my dude.
Beeson at Truth Wins Out contacted Matheson, and the statement he got back. Here's the statement from Matheson. My time in a straight marriage and in the ex-gay, quote-unquote, world was genuine and sincere and a rich blessing to me. I remember most of it with fondness and gratitude, blah, blah, blah. But I had stopped growing and was starting to die. So I've embarked on a new life-giving path that has already started a whole new growth process. I wasn't faking it all those years. I'm not renouncing my past work or my LDS faith, and I'm not condemning mixed orientation marriages. I continue to support the rights of individuals to choose how they will respond to their sexual attractions and identity. With that freedom, I am now choosing to pursue life as a gay man.
I mean...
So golf clap for that guy,
yeah.
I guess. He doesn't... Here's what bugs me. I don't care what he's doing. If he wants to be gay, and act on it, fine. Good for you, whatever. I don't care.
The damage he did
and that you show no remorse over what you've done. It didn't even work on you. You didn't turn straight.
And you literally wrote the book on it.
Yes, a book with a horrible title. You wrote it. And he's like, no, I'm fine. I helped a lot of people in the past. But by the way, it doesn't work because I'm looking for men now. Like, he gets to escape that bubble. He gets to go date men. Meanwhile, he's traumatized who knows how many people.
Right.
Telling them, no, this is wrong. God hates you if
and
you're
not
doing
only that,
this.
we've talked about it before. Like, we talked about it specifically with trans kids. Like, the rates of suicide go up when you're not allowed to be who you are.
Right.
Like, it's not just a matter of, like, psychological damage. Like, almost certainly he cost lives. Also, I want to ask listeners...
And if not directly with his patients, then the message that he sent.
Right. I want to ask listeners, because this is the second LDS person I know of off the top of my head who has been, quote-unquote, out as a gay man, but chose to live life as a straight man. Because it sounds like that's what the guy was doing. Like, he admitted he had same-sex
And a lot of
attractions.
Mormons who are like, we got to suppress it, turn it off, right?
Turn it
right?
like a light
but,
switch. Yeah,
so they are gay, but they're like, nope, I can't have those thoughts. I got to marry a woman.
And I feel like that's not... I feel like people are deeper in the closet in, like, your Christian and Catholic at all religions. That it's
Conservative Christians, yeah.
That it's not enough to be like, I have attractions, but I am choosing to be married to a straight woman. It is, I do not have those attractions. Those attractions are evil. So I'm very curious what it is about Mormon culture or LDS teachings or whatever. I'd be curious if anybody has an insight
Like, if
on
there's
that.
something about that makes them say...
I mean, there must be something in the teachings that says, like, it's not being gay that's bad, it's acting on it.
They all say that.
But
I mean, the Catechism of the Catholic Church is very clear that
Sure.
homosexual acts are the problem.
Sure, but I feel like I don't hear examples near, and this is anecdotal for sure. I don't hear examples nearly as frequently as men being kind of out and saying, like this guy, like, I am dealing with these attractions, but
You don't
I'm
hear
gonna
from a
get
lot of
over it.
openly gay Mormons who are just like, well, I guess I'll just be celibate for life.
yeah, I guess. I don't know, because there's the other guy I mentioned who, like, he was gay and married to a woman and had kids and claimed to be really happy, and then 5 years later, he's like, no, actually, this sucks. But, like, that is a theme I feel like I've seen. Maybe it's just two examples that I'm thinking of and blowing it up to more than it is. But anyway, my last thing is two women, Bev Nance and Mary Walsh, who've been married for a decade, have been in a committed relationship for 4 decades. They tried to get into a Missouri retirement home, and their apartment application was rejected because their marriage is, quote, not understood in the Bible.
Oh, hey.
It's called Friendship Village, which definitely isn't a place where murders happen. And the only married couples they accept were unions between one man and one woman. Anyway, they sued over being rejected, and they just got ruled against.
Because it was a Christian facility and they're allowed to discriminate. I'm assuming that's where this is going.
I didn't like most of it. Mikey had just gone to bed, and I'd had a couple of glasses of wine, and I saw NBC Chicago or whatever, like, printed that thing. And I wrote a really dumb thing like, wow, yeah. Married adult women who are committed to each other are the real problem. Cool, Bible. You sound great and regular. Anyway, people didn't like that necessarily, but it was really fun for me to read the comments.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm good.
I'm good too. Hemant, do you have anything good going on?
The team I coach is heading into playoffs in a week, so that's all where all my time is
Let's
right
be
now.
clear. It is not a sports team.
It is not a sports team. These are not people who do sports. Well, I lie. Some of them are really good athletes, actually.
How dare they? They don't get to do both of those things
I
good.
know. But that's my next month.
Good. Yeah, so you're going to be like an absent dad for us,
Yes.
huh? Here at our podcast.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Oh, I should have thought of a thing.
You should have. In the meantime, while you're thinking of it,
Yeah.
if you like what you're listening to, go to patreon.com/friendlyatheist
Oh, I know
podcast.
my thing. Shut up.
Go.
My interview with Jesse Thorne just got released yesterday, I think.
That's right.
My brother sent me a very nice text message, which is very nice. It was very cool, and he was great, and I'm really excited for people to listen to it and also listen to the other ones.
Yeah, if you're a Patreon subscriber, you have access to all the bonus
yeah.
episodes. Everyone else, you'll get one a week
Yes.
of the bonus episodes.
Like, we're going to drip feed. Oh, also, my friend Anne, who I talk about a lot and has been a co-host on a guest co-host, is We're having a sleepover next weekend, like the first weekend in February, and we're going to record another episode of Fables.
Nice.
Which I'm in the middle of reading, and it's great, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Do we know the book?
We're reading 2 books. So last time we read 3 children's books. And this time we only gave ourselves like a week and a half, so we're only reading 2 books. One is my favorite romance novel of all time, Jules' Son by Nora Roberts. Love that book. And hers is, I think it's called The Uglies. It's like a YA book that she remembers fondly. And we're both kind of foggy brained, so we thought we might as well read something light and enjoy it. So that will be up in the next few weeks.
Cool. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Did you give all of our information while I was thinking of my happy
Blueberry is her. I'm at Hem & Meta.
BLUEBURIE. You can go to my Etsy shop, Bitches Got Stitched Done. I think there's still an offer code Atheist. Try it. If you have questions, concerns, or have any insight on the LDS thing that I blabbed about, friendlyatheistpodcast@gmail.com, patreon.com/friendlyatheistpodcast.
iTunes us. Give us stars.
Yeah, give us stars. People are really like back to trashing me, so we kind of need that boost. Still hate baby boomers. I don't care.
See you next week.